Hi everybody, Alice and Cope here, and welcome to the Christmas Cheer YouTube Hop and Giveaway from Sweet November Stamps. Make sure to check out the description below for how you can win the entire release. Let's start with our card front. I'm just taping off the back of the card while it's flat so that I can create a blended background. We're using a variety of Distress Oxide inks which blend really well. And we're making our basic background. We're going to use some white acrylic paint, and I'm going to add a little water to make it a little bit more easily spread and splattered. There we go. I like the big drops on this one. And we're going to use some Uptown Catherine Pooler ink to add a little bit more richness to the background with this dark tealy blue color. And we're also going to add a silver paint as well. Let's get stamping. We're going to be using the From Me to You stamp set, and we're going to be using the little polar bear with the gift and his little pal, the penguin. We're going to stamp out our image today with Simon Says Stamp Fog ink. I really like this ink for a white character, meaning our polar bear. We're also going to be using the Horizon Lines Winter Wonderland. We're going to be using the large double tree. And I'm just going to stamp it up in the top right hand corner because we're going to do a little bit of landscape on this. So I'm not going to need the top part of this particular panel. So I'm going to stamp it out in the same exact ink. And I'm going to just use a pencil and make a quick horizon line because we're going to cut off our little polar bear and his penguin friend. We're going to be using Copic markers today. We're going to start with warm grays. We're going to start with a W2, and we're going to put down kind of all the places where we are going to introduce shadow. So we're kind of sticking our shadows down the left-hand side of our polar bear. So I'm going in to his belly, down his right-hand side of the hip. We're going to go under his neck, across his chest, down the back side of his arm, and down the right side of his face. A little bit of cheek and nose. And we're mapping out those shadows. We're going in with a W0 now to blend out all of those lines. Very easy. And doing it rather quickly. We're going to go in and just make our shadows a little bit deeper with a W3. I'm going to go in and touch all those spots that need a little bit darker shadow. Sometimes you just find that you don't have enough contrast or you don't have enough darks in your image. So you, with Copics, because they're transparent, you can go back and change that. You can add more darks. Onto our penguin, we're going to go in with a C8 and we're going to, again, work with all of those shadow places first. We're going to go under his wings, side of his head, and his tushy too. Onto C6 to blend out the entire black portion of our little penguin this time. And you can always go over it numerous times just to blend out from that dark to lighter. We're going to go in and give our little polar bear his little black nose using the exact same grays from our penguin. We're going to go in and outline those lines from our stamped image with a C4. And again, I didn't feel that there was enough darkness on the polar bear, so I went back with an even darker W with a W4. There we go. So again, you can keep deepening and darkening things if you need it. We're going to blend out those gray lines on our penguin with a C0. Just go over those lines and it kind of softens and blurs them out, almost like a blender. We're going to map out all of the orange things on our penguin, including his beak and his feet with a Y38, and then fill it in with a Y35. And they're super cute, just peeking out from underneath our fuzzy little penguin there. There we go. On to our trees. I'm only going to show portions of this because they take a fair amount of time. We're going to start with a BG72 and go into all of the under branches part. We're kind of almost trace the under branch and then extrapolate out with some drifty pieces. So anywhere where there's going to be a shadow, we're going to put a little bit of this BG72. And I'm just going to continue on with both trees for you. And don't forget to put a little bit of drift action kind of at the edge of the snowdrift on each branch as well. There we go, just mapping everything out. And we're going to go on with our BG34. And I'm going to go under each of those branches and I'm going to kind of blend out that deep dark BG color. This is kind of our medium tone. And I'm going to do that for both trees. So you're going to basically fatten up those darker BG colors. And on to the second one. And our final color for the snow is a BG32. And again, I'm just going to extrapolate again, pull that color down a little bit farther to create those shadows so that they kind of have a light tone. We need to deal with the greenery on our trees. So underneath the ends of those snow caps are our green tree. So I'm going to start with our darkest green, a G24, and I'm just going to be patchy with this, and I'm just going to kind of make some ticky marks and just underneath the edge of those snow lines all over the trees. Then we're going to come in and do a little touch of blending with a G21 just to kind of get rid of those line marks. Now onto the present. We're going to put a coat of BG34 down, and I accidentally went over that ribbon. That's okay. We're going to deal with that. So this is just where all our shadows are. We're going to put this color down underneath the ribbon and the box, and we're going to blend it out with a BG32. This one actually has a little bit more blue than green in it. So it kind of changed the tone of the box, but that's okay. It looks all right. Okay, our little critters need some cheeks. So for the penguin, I'm going to dab on some Zero Blender. Then I'm going to put my R20 down into that blender. And then I'm going to put blender over it again. And this helps push the ink down into the paper and make the color even softer. Now the polar bear, I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to take my blender pen. I'm going to do tip to tip. So I've actually applied a little bit of that pink to the end of my blender pen. So this allows me to put a very, very soft application of ink because it's just going to come off the end of that blender. And there we go. The cheeks are done. All right, onto the ribbon. We're going to start with R22, and I'm going to map out any areas that I feel have a little bit of shadow or depth. And off to the side, I pulled my image out because I wanted to make sure I got all the details in the right spots. With a light ink, sometimes you lose those details, so pulling out an image will help. We're going to go in with medium tone in R21 and just put a little bit of medium tone in there, and our final R20, leaving a little bit of white highlight on the ribbon. And to get rid of that ribbon discrepancy, I went in with a BG32 and added even more of that over top the ribbon on that left-hand side and into the shadows of the ribbon as well. All right, there is our cute little bubbies. Very, very simply colored, and our beautiful snowy Christmas trees or trees. Okay, let's stamp on a greeting from our stamp set. It says, "Christmas is better together." And we're going to find a corresponding ink. We're going to use Catherine Pooler in the Park ink this time. I'm just trying to make sure my magnets aren't in the way. My paper wanted to move, so I just put a piece of low-tack tape there to hold it while I stamp, just in case. There we go. All right, the peel and reveal. Here's our background. We're going to use our scoring tool and make sure that that crease is nice and flat. Perfect. And then we're going to mock up our card. So I just want to make sure that I kind of knew where my tree was going in relationship to our landscape. And I've glued it down, and the ends of the trees are actually popped up. So the tops of the trees are three-dimensionally added, and the bottom of the tree is stuck with glue. And then we're going to add our landscape panel at the top with three-dimensional foam. And there she is. Very, very simple, really fun. A great way to color your more neutral animals. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the hop. Make sure you check out the next person on the hop. Their link is down below, and have a great day.